Now, Aleah's body was found yesterday in a home on South Bedford Avenue. The coroner then confirming this morning that body was Aleah's.
And of course, 44 News reporter Chelsea Kerbler has been reporting on this story since it broke and has been following all the developments. And Chelsea, you have a little bit of context as to what's led us up to this point.
Ever since Aleah had gone missing back in July, the community just had outpouring support for the family. They actually started some searches on their own about 2 blocks from the home here on East Iowa Street down at Iowa and Garvin. They were going out every day for a few weeks, and then they kind of started on the weekends. They were actually responsible for bringing Texas EquiSearch here. They've kind of helped with big profile cases like the Kaylee Anthony case down in Florida. And then we saw in September, there was a large police presence one night down on Weinbach, just under the I-69 overpass, of possible remains that were found. People were thinking it was Aleah's body, but it ended up just being animal remains that were found. And then we have later in September, the FBI searching a Pike County landfill. We don't know really what led them there. That kind of took place for a few weeks until October, and then they stopped searching that Pike County landfill, and really nothing turned up from that, and we haven't really had many searches since then. And then again today at the press conference, real quick, EPD just saying that this is really a new beginning. This is not a missing persons case anymore. This is now a really murder investigation. They're not calling it a homicide until they get more details, but they're just asking anyone with information on what could have happened to Aleah Beckerle to call the We Tip hotline. I actually talked with the first neighbor that ever put the flowers out in front of the house. There's quite an array right now of flowers and stuffed animals. That neighbor said she was doing that strictly for Aleah and not for the family at all. Of course, many neighbors having their suspicions on what happened, but at this point, EPD says there are no suspects in this case. However, she said she left the flowers here on the 400 block of Iowa Street at Aleah's house because this is how she wants to remember Aleah. She says she always remembers her being here smiling. She didn't want to go to that South Bedford home where Aleah's body was found Monday night. You can see the dozens of balloons left behind from that vigil earlier this afternoon. Many of those people saddened but also relieved that Aleah Beckerle's body was found. She went missing 8 months ago. Now they're just hoping that the person or people responsible for her disappearance or death are found and brought to justice. Beckerle has been missing since July 2016, and since then many members of the community have been touched by her disappearance. Many people who did not know Aleah or the family participated in searches trying to find Aleah or any clues that could lead them to where she was.
She joins us live with a look back at how the whole tragedy unfolded. Chelsea.
It all began in July when Aleah was taken from her home. The puzzling question people then began to ask was how the person or people responsible got past the dog that was in the home. And that led many people to believe that the person or people responsible for taking Aleah had been at that home before. Many people, hours after Aleah was reported missing, started searching for her in the community, including those who did not know her. They began to search for her as well, setting up search headquarters 2 blocks from Aleah's home on the 400 block of East Iowa Street at Iowa and Garvin. Those searches continued over the next few weeks. A group called Texas EquiSearch was then brought in to help with search efforts. They helped out on high-profile cases like the Kaylee Anthony case in Florida, but with no leads or suspects, there wasn't much they could do. In September, police searched a field near Weinbach in the I-69 overpass. Remains were found, many people thinking it was Aleah, but it turned out to be just animal remains. Also in September, the FBI and EPD were led to a Pike County landfill. That search continued for a few weeks until late October. No clues or evidence was found in that search either. Now, if anyone has any information on Aleah's disappearance or death, you are asked to call the We Tip hotline. Live in Evansville, Chelsea Kerbler, 44 News.